I deposited what you lack even before you could name your needs. I know your days, your silent nights, the places where hope has faded. My deposit is not an empty sum, it is living substance. Peace that calms your chest when your thoughts race. Ideas that illuminate the curve of the path when it seems the road ends. Connections that cannot be bought and that reposition your story. Resources that arrive in the right measure to fulfill my purpose in you. Restoration that rescues what time, fatigue, and guilt have tried to erode. I do not deliver you by merit, I entrust you by covenant. I called you by name, I set you apart, I clothed you with dignity. Your faith is the signature that confirms what I have already signed by my side. Your signature is not human ink, it is trust that becomes a step. It is surrender that becomes direction. It is a voice that aligns with mine. When shame reminds you of deserts, look to me. When doubt holds you down, listen to my voice that lifts you up. I do not ask for perfection. I awaken in you the obedient response that opens the doors I have prepared. I open the right door and close the one that steals from you. Not every light guides you. Some seduce you, making you lose your purpose. I teach you to recognize my tone amidst the noise, to discern the invitation that whispers haste from the call that establishes foundation. Breathe and walk in my rhythm. Where your heart weighs heavily, I soothe. Where anxiety creates ghosts, I restore vision so you see as I see. Your story is not a train wreck, it is a plot that I carefully revise, weaving losses into learning, tears into springs, falls into steps. I do not waste pain, I convert it into wisdom. I do not ignore your weakness, I revisit it with grace until it becomes a place of encounter with me. The deposit I have entrusted to you includes direction and time, and I am Lord of both. When I say now, obedience is security. When I say wait, trust is future harvest. Lift your head, your identity precedes your flaws. You are mine, and what I entrust to you does not enslave you, it frees you to serve with joy. I reorder your affections so that possession does not possess you, and so that gift does not distract you from the giver. Walk with a full step, without excuses that delay, without pretense that contaminates. Be a channel and do not dam. What passes through you multiplies. What remains trapped within you rots. I pour out so that you may share. I supply so that you may sustain others. I illuminate so that you may light lamps in houses that have forgotten their own windows. And when I remind you of a face, when a name lands in your memory like a weary bird, understand, heaven is entrusting you with a crossing. Be simple, be quick, be kind. I will be at the encounter. I steady your trembling hand to write the first step. Organization is spiritual when born from my instruction. It closes cycles I have already ended, clears the table for new bread, erases agreements with fear, tears off labels that don't belong to you. I restore voice to those who have lost their song in the midst of routine. I give breath back to those who breathe shallowly because of old guilt. Your signature of faith is also a daily posture, choosing my voice at dawn, checking your heart at noon, giving thanks at dusk. I don't ask you to rush, I invite you to be constant. The ember you feed becomes a flame in due time, and as you walk, I will give you small signs that you are under my watchful eye. Doors that align, messages that arrive at the precise time, a rest that cannot be explained but is recognized within. These signs are not the end, they are the signpost that confirms the path. I protect you from the applause that inflates and the criticism that shrinks. Neither defines what I have decreed. Learn to listen without getting lost. Learn to speak without justifying yourself. My deposit gives you the security to serve without calculation, the courage to begin again when many would merely comment. the tenderness to be firm without becoming harsh. What I have written is not erased because a wind changes. And when the wind changes, I will give you roots deeper than that. On the day everything seems small, I would remind you that great is what endures. On the day everything seems too big, I would remind you that humility is what bears fruit. My care balances you between both. Now respond with what I have shown you within. Faith speaks, faith moves, faith confirms what the heart already knows. I would listen to you as I guide you. And as you embrace what I have entrusted to you, you will see that the road that seemed narrow becomes open, and the weight that seemed yours reveals itself to be mine. I walk with you. I go before. I am your shield behind. I surround you with mercy on all sides. Where you lacked embrace, I will be embrace. Where you lacked reference, I will be the guide. Where you lacked a table, I will prepare a table before what intimidated you. Receive what I have deposited and live as one who has already received, for heaven has not given you a promise to collect, but a provision to fulfill your destiny. And as I breathe upon you, confirm with your own step what I have whispered to your spirit, so that your signature may find mine, and what is mine in you may become visible at the right time. Write in faith, I receive the inheritance that you have entrusted to me. I have entrusted you with a deposit that finds no end within you, because what I pour into your life is destined to be a bridge, not a wall. I bless you so that you may become a shelter for others, a light that steadies weary steps, bread that sustains those who lose strength in the middle of the day. What I place in your hands does not chain you to possession. It frees you for purpose. Where many seek to hoard for security, I teach you to share to reveal my faithfulness. The inheritance I entrust to you carries a mission, and the mission inscribes meaning in. Every simple gesture that springs from your heart aligned with mine. You sow what I give you, and I make it grow beyond your reach. This is how I multiply the little and transform fragility into a path of salvation. A gentle word at the right time unties an old knot. A request for forgiveness heals a hidden wound. A discreet embrace rescues a forgotten name from the margins. Nothing that is born of my love in you is small, because the love that comes from me knows no stereotyping. It germinates where no one expects it, sprouts in stony soil, opens a crack in the desert, and writes the future on pages that fear would tear. You become the thread that sews stories together so that I may be recognized as Father. I will bring faces and names to your mind, and when I do, don't pass by as if changing the subject. Stop, accept, and listen to my intimate instruction. Sometimes it will be a simple message, other times an open table, a brief phone call, a silent prayer that I listen to with care. Don't seek grandeur to validate what I ask of you. Seek fidelity. The extraordinary manifests when obedience becomes your preferred habit. I, myself, will be at the encounter, and what seems casual to men will be a loving intervention in my eyes. The deposit I place within you contains ideas that ease the burden of those who have lost their way, resources that meet the needs I show you, connections that bridge old bridges and create new paths toward reconciliation. Learn to manage with honor, to plan with humility, to prioritize with discernment. Do not be seduced by applause or paralyzed by criticism. Place before me what you have and what you are, and I will adjust the course, correct the excess, and quiet the haste that confuses zeal with anxiety. My care forms you to carry weight without losing sweetness. Your home can be a refuge, your schedule can be an answer, your talent can be a tool of healing. Do not compare your dedication to that of others, because what I have entrusted to you has its own measure and exact timing. Those who measure themselves by their neighbors lose the compass of heaven. Remain attentive to my voice, for I whisper direction amidst the noise and teach practical paths, step by step. When I open a door, walk through with gentleness and courage. When I ask you to wait, exercise trust and let the seed work underground. Everything I plant yields a harvest if it remains in me. What you share does not impoverish your barn, but rather protects it from the mold of selfishness. A flowing river does not rot, a stagnant lake loses its life. Be a river, let my generosity find its way through you. Your testimony will be a lamp in unlit windows. Your availability will be a ladder for those who cannot reach the necessary heights. Your word will be a firm edge where many will find balance. I take responsibility for the invisible, connections, times, convergences that you cannot see. You take responsibility for the visible, obedience, kindness, constancy. I will lead you to care for people and contexts that cannot return in kind. This is the beauty of my kingdom, giving here, receiving later, sowing in today's furrow, harvesting in tomorrow's meadow. When weariness suggests gathering your nets, remember that I am in the boat and that my word decides which side to cast. I would not call you to a mission of fruitless efforts. I call you to bear fruit meaningfully and rest in peace. Where the world measures value by immediate return, I measure it by fidelity in the process. I will make you a sign of reconciliation where there has been estrangement, a peacemaker where conversation has stalled, a good steward where resources require responsibility, a living witness where hope requires a body. Walk lightly but firmly. Walk attentively but not tensely. Walk with an open heart to perceive the silent pains I reveal to you and the discreet opportunities I prepare. Your daily yes, small and complete, is the channel through which I pour rivers upon thirsty lands. Give this word to whoever I bring to your mind now. When the answer blossoms, return and tend the harvest with zeal, for I will give you new fields as you are faithful in this one. What begins today does not end with you, for I write the stories of many through yours. And as you go, remember that the source is not in you, but in me. Therefore, your portion does not run dry when shared, it is renewed. I sustain you so that you sustain. I lift you so that you rise. I embrace you so that you embrace. This is how my grace flows. This is how my deposit becomes a living path in the world. Remain where I instruct you, for it is in permanence that what I have given you takes root, matures, and bears fruit. He who chases after many voices loses the compass of heaven, but he who keeps my word finds steady direction amidst the wind. I do not guide you by fleeting impulses. I guide you by a cadence of peace that sustains every necessary decision. Learn to recognize my timbre amidst the noise. My voice doesn't push you toward anxiety, it grounds you in purpose. If something drags you into a rush that confuses, be quiet for a moment, return to the meeting place and listen again. I will speak to you so that you can obey today, without having to carry the burden of tomorrow. Today's step is enough when taken in the right direction. Order your affections so that what is urgent does not rob you of what is eternal. Set times to seek me. Protect windows of silence. Set aside the table for instruction. What seems simple to the eyes of the world is precious to me, because constancy opens paths that solitary genius cannot see. I cultivate in you a loving attention that makes you sensitive to my curves and pauses. I finish what I begin. When my word visits you, it finds a place to rest and be sent forth. I rest to rest in your heart. I send forth to reach others through you. If you remain where I speak, you do not waste seed. If you stray, you lose the time of the waters. Permanence is a greenhouse for the sprouts and a wall for the winds that try to tear them from the soil. Protect the seed by saying no to what distracts you. Not every invitation is a path. Not every opportunity is my door. Learn to taste the fruit in advance. Asking questions gives you more presence or more vanity, more service or more stage, more unity or more noise. I will teach you to reject excess and embrace moderation, because my yoke is easy and my burden is light when carried in the rhythm of obedience. Tend to your routine as one tends a garden. Watering is repeating with love what gives life to what was planted. Read, pray, work, rest, serve, celebrate, correct, forgive, reconcile. Don't wait for great emotions to sustain holy decisions. Sustain holy decisions, and you will see healed emotions. The heart gains strength when it finds daily meaning in small choices. I will give you proof that you are on the right path, an understanding you previously lacked, a provision on the right day, a peace that imposes itself even without explanation. Learn to notice these landmarks without idolizing them. They point to me, not to your own abilities. When the storm comes, remember the landmarks. When the calm comes, stay on the same course. Faithfulness does not negotiate its direction with the weather. Cherish the bonds I have offered you as shelter. People who remind you of who you are in me. Environments where my presence is honored. Practices that refocus you when you stray. Permanence is also communal, because faith matures best when it breathes in communion. I will plant you among people who water your faith and challenge your love to grow in breadth and depth. If you stumble, don't run away. Return to the meeting place and start over at the same point where my peace awaits you. I never tire of aligning your compass. Repentance purifies you, hope repositions you, and grace propels you forward again. Don't let shame write your map. I myself write your map with mercy that is renewed when the sun rises. When I spoke to you about the deposit, I also spoke about purpose. Persistence preserves both. It preserves what you receive and keeps alive the reason why I entrusted your inheritance to you. Those who remain flourish in their own time, because fruit has seasons that impulse does not respect. If you stay with me, time does not defeat you. It works in your favor. When you are tempted to measure your path by worldly metrics, return to the center. Presence, obedience, service, peace. Here is the ruler of the kingdom. Here is the solid ground for your feet. Here is the place where my voice remains clear and your heart remains whole. Here I strengthen you, instruct you, send you, and receive you back day after day. Seal this meeting, confirm it, and stay where I tell you. Continue with gentle courage. I will guide you along safe paths, illuminate the next bend, and teach you to sustain the rhythm that protects your soul and expands your reach. As you remain, the deposit matures, your character deepens, and your story aligns with my will. I am with you at the beginning, middle, and end of each day, and at the end of each day, I prepare you for the next beginning. Not every door is mine, and not every opportunity has been prepared by me for your good. There are doors that shine like polished metal, and there are doors that hold like solid wood. Shine distracts, firmness preserves. I teach you to test the path before crossing, to listen to the peace that accompanies my voice, and to reject the anxiety that pushes you aimlessly. Your heart knows my timbre when it rests upon hearing it. Where you feel constricted by haste, do not enter. Where you recognize your purpose, advance with confidence. I guide your steps without robbing you of the peace I gave you as a sign. Learn to differentiate between a shortcut and a direction. A shortcut promises a quick arrival, but leaves the soil of your heart trampled and shallow. Direction may seem slower, but it deepens the roots and sustains the crown of your story against the wind. I operate in precise timing and give you the sensitivity to perceive when the fruit is still green, when it's ripe, and when it's past its prime. Waiting on me isn't standing still, it's moving at the right pace so as not to harm what I am maturing in you and through you. I don't frustrate you with closed doors. I protect you from those that would distance you from your destiny. Before each decision, descend from the noise to the place where my presence visits you. Ask what this door produces in you. Does it increase vanity or expand service? Does it trap you in comparisons or release you to excellence with humility? Separate your will from my counsel with sincerity. I answer the heart that seeks me in truth. If the answer commands you from within, take the first step. If it confuses you, wait. Confusion is not my language. Clarity may be silent, but it is never confusing. I will give you discreet and sufficient signs, a word that confirms the direction when your mind is still, a providence that untangles what effort insisted on forcing, a peace that resists the script. Don't turn signs into idols, but receive them as road signs. Read, give thanks, and stay on track. Where praise inflates you, remember that I called you to bear fruit, not to inflate. Where criticism shrinks you, remember that I sustain you from within, and that directions are born from my counsel, not the mood of the day. When faced with multiple doors, don't decide alone for fear of losing track of time. I don't trap you, I invite you to walk with me. Seek advice that honors my word. Examine the fruits of those who advise you. Watch the inclinations of your heart. If you're trying to prove something to others, close your hand and return to me. If you're seeking to confirm what I've already told you, open your hand and follow. I don't hide my will to confuse you. I hide it enough to draw you closer. Not every door opens with force. Some respond to the key of humility. Others require reconciliation before crossing. There are doors that only open when you return what isn't yours, when you ask for forgiveness where your debt resides, when you put your house in order from the inside. I don't deny you the future, I prepare you for it. And when I prepare you, I adjust your affections, cleanse your motives, restore your relationships. The right door isn't just a new place. It's a new you walking through it. I am the Lord of time and opportunity. Opportunity without time is a burden. Time without opportunity is frustration. I align both and teach you to recognize the sunset where no one sees and the dawn that begins when it is still night. Don't ask me for complete maps when I give you the lamp that is sufficient for this turn. Faithfulness in your step opens your vision to the next turn. I walk ahead, opening what no one closes and closing what would divert you, even if it seems advantageous. If you choose the wrong door, don't lose yourself in guilt. Close it with humility, learn what the journey has taught you, and return to my presence. Sincere repentance is the key that fits the lock of my will. I don't abandon you to your attempts. I educate you in them. Maturity doesn't make you infallible. It makes you quick to return to center. Take this rest with you. It will protect you from the perfectionism that paralyzes and the impulse that overwhelms. Listen, then, to what I tell you today. I teach you to walk without fear, to evaluate without chronic distrust, to act with firm kindness. I give you eyes beyond the veneer and ears beyond the volume. When you recognize my peace, you have my yes. When my peace is absent, wait for my yes. Between the yes and the waiting, I mature you so that what I open does not lose you from me, and so that what I close does not steal your hope. Share this word with those who are facing many doors and need to find the right one. Today, I teach you the value of the sign that seals in the visible what I have planted in the invisible. Your heart receives my word, and your memory needs marks to remind you when the pressure comes. The sign does not replace faith, it anchors it. The sign does not perform miracles, it positions you to remember what I have already decreed. When you mark this station, your soul finds a point of return whenever the noise tries to distract you. I'm not asking you for complicated gestures, I'm asking for awareness. A simple act can carry eternal weight when born of obedience. There are days when you'll feel strong, and there are days when you'll feel small compared to your surroundings. The sign was made for every day. When emotions waver, it pulls you back on track. When anxiety calls you to take shortcuts, it returns you to the path I've shown you. The sign reminds you of who you are, to whom you belong, and what I've already entrusted to you. I call this sign a covenant memory. A covenant is a living commitment. I pointed to you and declared your destiny. You respond with faith and discipline. The sign is not superstition. It is spiritual pedagogy. It educates your affections, corrects your haste, sustains your hope. You do not seek strength in the symbol, but in the meaning it reminds you of. The symbol points to my faithfulness. My faithfulness is the rock that does not move when the waters are turbulent. There are many voices trying to negotiate your attention. The signal teaches you to return to mine. When your thoughts race, breathe and remember what you marked before me. Repeat within yourself what I told you. Reposition your steps. The constancy of small responses builds great stories. The secret of fruit is not spectacle, it is perseverance. I delight in the perseverance that arises from love, and love becomes practical when you find simple ways to remember what matters most. Integrate the sign into your routine with serenity. At dawn, before opening the windows to the world, turn your gaze to me and remember what I told you. At midday, when your schedule tries to swallow you, return for a moment to your center and confirm your direction. At night, when fatigue weighs on you, surrender the day to my presence and allow me to wash your feet with my peace. The sign is not a burden, it is organized rest. It restores focus without rigidity, discipline without harshness. The sign also protects you from self-deception. It reminds you that the work is mine and the glory is mine. When things flow and doors open, the sign points to the giver, not your arm. When something takes time and the weight stretches you, the sign reminds you that I do not change, even when the landscape changes. Mark to remember, not to demand. Seal to give thanks, not to pressure. Thus, your heart remains clean and able to hear clearly. I know the magnitude of your struggles. I know losses, delays, and frustrated expectations. None of this distances me from you. The sign is the hand I give you to rise again. It doesn't leave you hostage to moods, opinions, and comparisons. While the world measures you by results, I shape you by answers. Responding with a conscious sign is saying your yes again, even when your feelings are tired. This yes opens space for me to work in you and through you. Choose a place in your day where this sign is true and simple. It could be a brief pause, a purposeful note, a discreet gesture known only to you and I. The important thing is that your heart is present and your mind aligns with what I have spoken. Over time, you will see the strength born of this silent fidelity. You will see calm where there was once noise, clarity where there was once fog, courage where there was once withdrawal. This is how I build you up from within. Today I invite you to mark this word with a seal of agreement, not because I need your number, but because you need a marker. It will be a reminder that I spoke, that you responded, and that we will walk together in what is to come. This seal will stand like a signpost on the roadside, signaling that a new discipline of faith has begun here. Whenever you look at it, you will know that my care accompanies you, Write 7,777 as a seal of agreement. I receive your yes and strengthen you on the path. The sign you mark today will accompany your hope on good days and difficult days. When you are tempted to forget who you are in me, return to this landmark and recognize my voice. I continue what I begin, I sustain what I trust, I complete what I promise. Go with serenity. The seal is set, the direction is clear, and my love remains before and behind you. I bring to your memory a name and a face, and it is no coincidence. I involve you in a precise mission, because what I have placed within you is not an ornament, it is a bridge. You are not the end of the road, you are the path through which hope flows. When this name arises within you with insistent gentleness, recognize my touch and make your heart available for the encounter I have already prepared. I organize times and convergences where the eye cannot reach. A simple message can untie the knot that reason has not undone. Attentive listening can clear the dust that hid direction. You don't need many words, you need fidelity. My kingdom flourishes when fidelity finds the right time. The focus is not quantity, but loving precision. A small seed, sown in the right furrow, makes a difference that maps don't register, but hearts recognize. The posture I ask of you is meekness with courage. Meekness, to respect the rhythm of the soul you receive. Courage to not remain silent when I open the door. I will be in the midst of the conversation that unfolds, guiding the tone, protecting dignity, making room for comfort and truth. You are the bridge, I am the crossing. You offer presence, I pour meaning. You take the step, I steady the ground. There will be days when the gesture is as brief as a glass of cool water. A short text sent at just the right moment. A silent prayer while the person speaks. A practical reminder that they are not alone. There will be days when the response requires more breath and constancy. I will show you which is which. Learn to distinguish internal noise from direction. Direction brings sobriety and focus. Noise brings empty urgency. Stay with me and you will recognize the difference. If shyness touches your shoulder, remember that I did not choose your gifts to shame you. I chose your heart to reveal myself. I do not send you to prove your worth. I send you to share my care. The outcome belongs to me. Obedience belongs to you. When fear suggests silence, seek my peace. If peace visits you, move forward. If peace is absent, wait. Peace is my hallmark in you when I shape correct steps. Don't cling to the expectation of a return. Sow and move on in peace. I water the seed while you sleep. Prepare encounters you won't see. Tend the threads woven beyond your sight. In due time, the testimonies will come like ripe fruit, and your heart will know that each response was worthwhile. Until then, cherish the joy of having been a channel. The joy of those who give is also healing for those who felt empty. I protect you from the excess that weighs heavy and the calculation that chills. The hope I entrust to you is not propaganda, it is bread. It does not seek a stage, it seeks a table. Therefore, I ask of you purity of motive, simplicity of speech, firmness of gesture. Avoid disputes over reason. Prefer the construction of peace. Where there is old hurt, I will whisper the right word. Where there is disorder, I will teach you where to begin. Where there is heavy silence, I will give you a presence that warms. You will discern when to speak and when to simply be. In some encounters, I will be the voice through your mouth. In others, I will be the comfort through your attentive silence. Love knows how to vary without losing its essence. Your part is attention and readiness. My spirit will remind you of truths that build without hurting, corrections that liberate without humiliating, paths that open without fanfare. Trust me at the bend, and I will give you the next vision after the next step. I place you in the path of people who harbor dreams, tired of waiting. I revive embers beneath the fine ashes and rekindle the specks of hope that haven't died, only fallen asleep. Your yes, when it finds my care, becomes a spark in entire homes. Your availability, when it finds my timing, becomes a testimony that runs faster than the tongues of men and reaches deeper than their arguments. I sustain your fountain as you share cups. Whoever refreshes will be refreshed by me. Whoever serves honestly will be protected from the exhaustion born of vanity. Let me regulate your limits so that giving doesn't become escape and caring doesn't become control. Walk lightly and attentively. I will tell you when to open your arms and when to retreat to rest. Rest is also part of sowing because it protects the soil from wear and tear and renews the joy of planting. Share this word with the person I bring to mind now. I welcome your yes and expand your reach without taking you away from me. With each faithful surrender, your story takes on the contours of a mission, and my presence gains space in the places I send you. Go in peace. I will watch over what has been sown, guide what needs to flourish, and bring you back with discernment for new steps. As I show you a name, prepare your heart, for the meeting has already been scheduled in heaven, and the fruit will find its time. I call you by name and establish you in the truth that sustains you when everything around you changes. You are mine, not by performance, but by covenant. The label the world gave you does not govern what I have written about you. I washed you, I clothed you, I gave you a place at my table. Your inheritance is legitimate because it springs from my fatherhood, not from your resume. Walk from who you are in me and not from what you lacked along the way. What you lacked is mine to supply. What I have decreed is yours to guard with honor and obedience. I break the narrative of fear that tries to reduce you to your last failure. Failures don't define children, they instruct children. I transform stumbles into stepping stones when you invite me to order your steps. Shame wants to steal your voice. I return it with dignity. Comparison wants to distort your mirror. I show you my face so you recognize yourself in the true reflection. Anxiety wants to impose haste. I teach you pace. Haste confuses paths. My peace reveals direction. Receive this peace as my timbre within you, a sign that you remain under my voice. I have called you to move forward with gentle courage, a firmness that doesn't need to shout to be true. Gentle courage arises from a healed identity. When you know who you are, you don't sell yourself for applause or hide from criticism. Applauded or ignored, you are mine. Applause doesn't increase your value. Criticism doesn't diminish your calling. My love gives you roots deeper than the changing wind. And when the wind changes, remember that your roots are in me, and I do not change. I clothe you with purposes beyond human measure. There is grace enough for your story, and there is more than enough for many through you. The deposit I have entrusted to you is an expression of my goodness and a tool for your calling. Use it with wisdom, discipline, and compassion. Where others expect performance, I seek fidelity. Where others seek a stage, I prepare tables. Where others dispute reason, I build reconciliation. Let your identity guide your agenda. Be mine in all things. Serve in love. Choose obedience over splendor. I teach you to speak with my truth and to be silent with my prudence. Not every battle deserves your response. Not every silence is surrender. Learn to measure with my ruler, presence, peace, purpose. If by speaking you lose your peace, step back and listen to me. If by remaining silent you betray your purpose, speak with honor. Your healed voice heals environments. Your upright posture establishes paths. And when your voice wavers, I, myself, will be your word. reminding you of what I have already told you in secret. I bring your story back to light, not to expose your weakness, but to reveal my care at every turn of the road. What you thought was a waste will become wisdom to support others. What you thought was an irreparable wound will be a sign that I restore and send. The painful experience will be oil on weary shoulders, because my spirit consecrates your journey and transforms it into purposeful service. Nothing in me is disposable. Everything in me finds new meaning. I give you practical instruction to sustain your identity in your daily life. Organize your heart before organizing your schedule. Begin the day seeking my direction and end it by returning to me the burden that is not yours. Forgive quickly, reconcile when possible. Keep your yes as yes and your no as no. Protect your eyes from excess, your ears from gossip, and your mind from comparisons that sap joy. Joy is strength, and I bring joy to your soul when you let me rule the inner places where no one sees. If you stumble, return without fear. Repentance is the door through which dignity returns. I do not treat you according to your error, but according to the covenant. My correction does not humiliate, it positions you. My discipline does not oppress, it strengthens you. I lift your shoulders so that you carry only what I have given you, and I teach you to say no to what drains your essence. The maturity I build in you is not harshness. It is a gentleness that knows how to speak the truth without losing tenderness. I whisper now to your spirit, walk as a son, serve as an heir, think as one who belongs. Scarcity does not decide your mindset, sonship does. Fear does not write your next steps, my promise writes. Guilt does not negotiate your access, my blood guarantees it. Look to me and receive alignment. What I say you are supports your spine when the pressure mounts and keeps you humble when the harvest arrives. Where you felt smaller, I broaden your vision. Where you were labeled, I rename you by destiny. Where weariness has bent you, I lift you up with rest. Remain steadfast. I am with you at dawn, in the middle of the day, and when night falls. And when night falls, remember that my eyes do not sleep, and my hand does not withdraw. Abide in me, and you will see the fruit in due time. If this word confirms you, remain under my instruction. I break the fear that silences your voice, and the doubt that binds your feet. I do not design you for paralysis, I form you to move at my pace. Where you saw yourself as small, I reposition you in truth. You are mine. The threat that looms large within diminishes when I align you with what I say. Fear tells endless stories. My word reopens the chapter with direction. I bring order to the thoughts that accelerate and restore breath to the heart that sustains your journey. Doubt speaks with the tongue of insecurity and shows you paths without ground. I bring ground where before there was fog. I don't ask you for blind leaps, I ask you for steps of trust. Faith is not the absence of questions, it is the presence of my voice guiding your response. When my peace visits you, it doesn't put you to sleep, it guides you. Your mind wants a complete map. I give you a lamp sufficient for the current curve. Obey the light you have, and the next curve will illuminate. Anxiety wants to push you into a rush that confuses. I invite you to walk with a measured pace. Recollect yourself for a moment. Breathe in me. Listen to the timbre you already recognize. Where my peace remains, follow. Where my peace is absent, wait. Not everything that shines is my door, and not all waiting is loss. I teach discernment that sustains, testing intentions, perceiving fruits, checking motivations. The truth I speak does not humiliate, it positions. The correction I bring does not oppress, it strengthens. I restore your voice to speak what is right, and your steps to do what is necessary. The courage I give you is gentle, firm without harshness, clear without aggression. It arises from a healed identity, not from performance. Speak when my peace sustains you. Be silent when your heart seeks a stage. In both, I protect you. Your security does not reside in the response of others. It resides in my presence within you. Therefore, I teach you to let go of control and welcome the rule of my love over your days. Fear builds prisons with old memories. I enter these rooms and open windows. Where they said no, I teach you to hear my yes. Where labels have marked you, I rename you by destiny. Where guilt has weighed you down, I wash you with mercy. Do not negotiate your access because of failures. Return with repentance, and I receive you. Repentance is not a chain, it is a key. It brings you back to the room where my peace rules, and your story finds its way back to its path. I show you a practical path for today. Organize your heart before your schedule. Choose a small act of obedience. Close a gap that drains you. Make room for the new I have given you. Small acts of fidelity move great mountains when repeated at my pace. Do not disdain the simple, a request for forgiveness, a necessary conversation, a healthy boundary, a routine of silence before me. I multiply the impact of what is born of truth and humility. When doubt visits you with scenes of loss, respond with remembrance of my care. Recall milestones, doors I opened, provisions that arrived, words that steadied you. Testimony is not nostalgia, it is fuel for faith. It reminds you that I remain when everything changes. And when it seems nothing happens, remember that the seed works underground and that time is my ally, not your enemy. I ripen fruit without losing sight of you. Banish comparisons that weaken your confidence. Another person's path is another field and another station. Yours is the place where I walk with you. Keep your eyes on what I asked of you, not on what is expected of you. I sustain your breath to do what is yours to do and free you from the obligation to meet specters of expectations. The freedom I give you is to love, serve, and grow in truth, not to prove your worth. I already gave you worth when I called you mine. If you fall along the way, get up with the help of my grace. Mistakes don't end your story. They teach you where to place your feet. I don't dismiss you for failures. I discipline you tenderly so you can mature. Learn quickly, return to your center, and move forward. Perfectionism paralyzes, regret positions. I celebrate your sincere step more than an impeccable plan that never leaves the drawing board. I breathe upon your courage now. Fear loses strength as my presence grows within you. Doubt loses its place as my word finds voice in your mouth. Make room for me to guide you through the end of the day. I will hold your hand in what is new. I will pacify your memory in what hurt. I will align your agenda with what edifies. Continue sustained by my voice. Today is the day to move forward without fanfare, with peace that governs and truth that illuminates your path. Right in faith, I move forward today with gentle courage. Today, I invite you to transform conviction into action. What I have planted in your spirit demands a visible response that reminds you, on windy days, who is speaking to you and where you are going. Your sign of agreement is not a spectacle. It is humility that becomes memory. It fixes in concrete what is born in the invisible and restores focus when emotions waver. Decide with me that your faith will not remain merely thoughts, but will touch your daily life like a simple and conscious seal. A sign doesn't buy me favor. It organizes your inner self. It aligns you with what I have said when other voices try to negotiate your attention. When fatigue forces you to rush your decisions, your sign will serve as a calm reminder that my peace still governs. When insecurity suggests you retreat, your sign will tell your heart that the commitment remains. The symbol is small, the meaning is broad, and the meaning is the covenant I maintain with you. I want you to choose a clear and actionable gesture. It could be a brief pause before responding, a deep breath that summons my presence, a record of gratitude at the end of the day, a touch of your hand on your chest to remind you that my voice speaks within. The gesture is yours, the grace is mine. The gesture is simple, the fidelity I multiply. Small stones of memory build a road. Walk on them when the fog tries to hide the route. Not every conviction matures without discipline. Your sign educates your affections to serve purpose, not impulse. It helps you say no to empty glitter and yes to what bears fruit. It builds serenity because it distances you from a fragile self-image and anchors you in me. The sign reminds you who named you, who sent you, who sustains your step. And when victory arrives, it will remind you that the source remains the giver, not performance. Fear may try to ridicule the small, but I honor what springs from the whole heart. A world distracted by noise would see little value in silent signs. I, on the contrary, cultivate your constancy with gestures that no one needs to applaud to be true. Constancy is the home where the fruit grows unhurriedly. The signal is the discreet hinge of this door, opening and closing at the right rhythm. If you wonder why you repeat a gesture every day, remember that love learns habits. Love repeats because it values, insists because it knows what it wants, simplifies because it understands the essential. Repeating meaningfully isn't mechanical, it's devotional. It's your yes said tenderly. It's your mind learning to return home without violence. It's your body becoming a witness to what we believe together. Your memory needs clear memories to get you through these difficult days. Your sign will be one of those memories. It will point you to the promise when old promises seem distant. It will remind you of my presence when noise tries to occupy all the space. It will align your mouth with what your heart already knows, so that your words don't betray what your spirit recognizes. This is how inner unity is built, and inner unity makes its way outward. When you stumble, don't abandon the sign. It wasn't made for perfect moments, but for real days. Use it to gently get back on track. I don't ask you to rush, I ask you to return. The maturity I form in you doesn't happen in heroic leaps. It happens in whole steps, and whole steps are taken by hearts that know how to return to their center without drama, with hope. Now I call you to respond, not to impress me, but to educate you in the fidelity that liberates. What I have begun in you continues when you say yes to me in concrete ways. The concrete things are your schedules, your limits, your choices, your way of speaking, your way of serving. Choose a gesture and consecrate it to me. I will receive it as a daily covenant and will teach you through it to recognize my peace at the crossroads. I will lead you along safe paths. You will see that the gesture will remind you of your origin and destination every time a detour seems tempting. You will see that the gesture steadies your gaze and calms your hands. You will see that, over time, your very presence becomes a sign of hope in the environments you visit. And when those around you ask the reason for your serenity, you will know that it arises from a living alliance, practiced in details that protect the essential. Receive my counsel, embrace my care, confirm your path. Where your heart affirms that I have spoken, respond clearly. Where your mind tries to complicate things, let the simplicity of the gesture guide you. The important thing is that your yes finds my grace, so that what is a seed today may grow into a tree tomorrow. The sign does not bind you to guilt, it binds you to hope. The sign does not bind, it guides. The sign does not weigh, it sustains. Like if this word confirms you, I walk before you and behind you. I transform what you now decide into a clear path. I care for what you cannot see while you occupy yourself with what I have entrusted to you. When the day ends, return to the gesture. Hand over to me what weighed on you. Celebrate what blossomed and sleep under my gaze. At dawn, rediscover the gesture and take another step. This is how the deposit matures, character aligns, and your story becomes a shelter for many. I remain. I entrust you with a deposit that never ends in your hands, because what I give you has a greater purpose than possession. Possession satisfies for a moment, purpose sustains for a lifetime. I pour so that it may flow. I bless so that you may shelter. I nourish so that you may share. When you understand that you are a channel and not a dam, your heart finds lightness and your work gains meaning that cannot be accounted for in human accounting. What passes through you multiplies. What remains trapped within you rots. Therefore, I teach you to open your fingers with confidence and to keep your gaze on the source, not the measure of the cup. Purpose is the table I prepare in place of the stage that seduces you. At the table there is room for reconciliation, for healing of old words, for bread that breaks without noise, for listening that restores dignity. I send you to set tables in homes that have forgotten their own song, to cook hope in the slow fire of constancy, to serve with gentleness what you receive from me. The glare of the stage may tire your eyes, but the table revives your soul, because there my presence is recognized in the breaking of bread and the touching of shoulders. Steward with honor what I entrust to you: ideas, time, resources, connections. Ideas are seeds, not trophies. Plant them in soil of real need. Time is a river. Direct its course to water what is essential. Resources are tools. Use them to build bridges, not to erect walls. Connections are threads. Weave them into networks of support, not webs of vanity. The stewardship I ask of you is not rigid or cold. It is wise and compassionate. It measures value by transformation, not by applause. It celebrates small beginnings because it knows the fruit that ripens slowly. I will guide you to encounter wounds that demand clean hands and a gentle heart. Some days, purpose will be silence that listens to the weeping until the breath calms. Other days, it will be a word that calls by name and restores horizon. Sometimes, purpose will be concrete providence that arrives like water to the thirsty. Other times, it will be a presence that remains when others rush to leave. Learn to vary without losing its essence. To serve is always to love in action. Rushing to show results robs you of the deep work I do. Purpose doesn't compete for showcase. It lives to generate life. Where you feel tempted to inflate numbers, remember that I tell stories, not likes. Where you feel pressured to prove your worth, remember that I have already called you mine. The root of your service is in my love, not in the approval of the shift. When the shift changes, I remain. Therefore, your step can be firm and serene. You pour into the visible, I water into the invisible. As you prepare the table, I invite those who need to sit. As you extend your hand, I bring near those who have lost their way. As you fulfill your small shift of faithfulness, I open doors that your eyes cannot reach. This is the partnership of grace. Your obedience lights lamps, my goodness expands the reach of light. Trust in the rhythm I teach you, because haste disorganizes the kitchen of the soul. But patient care seasons the food with hope. Protect your purpose from two dangers: accumulation and empty weariness. Accumulation collects blessings and forgets people. It responds with intelligent generosity, which gives with direction and accompanies with responsibility. Empty weariness works without new wine. It responds with holy rest, which brings you back to center, adjusts your motives, and renews the joy of serving. Remember that I made you a body, not a machine. Rest is also faithfulness, because it preserves the heart from becoming hardened in the ministry of good. I will give you wisdom to structure processes that sustain the table without losing the warmth of the embrace. A schedule with room for divine encounter, a budget with room for compassion, teams that care for one another, goals that fit with clear consciences. Purpose is a long road, so your shoes need comfort and your compass needs simplicity. If the path begins to smell of control and vanity, return to me. I will reposition you in service, not spectacle. The joy born of purpose is rest in motion. It doesn't depend on applause, because it matures in the secret where my eyes see you. It allows you to go through difficult weeks with gentleness and celebrate prosperous weeks with humility. It protects you from the comparison that dries and the guilt that paralyzes. The joy of purpose is the oil that keeps the gears of your soul from creaking. Today I reaffirm this to you. You are a channel of my care, a sign of my reconciliation, a steward of my provision. Every time you choose purpose over possession, you will write chapters that time will not erase. Every time you prefer a table to a stage, you will host my presence in such a way that even the weary will recognize home. Follow this path with a firm step and clear eyes. I will guide you in the right measure, with sufficient resources and precise connections for each phase. Share this word with whoever I remind you of now. Remain where I instruct you, for permanence is the greenhouse where the seed of my deposit matures until it becomes fruit. Those who chase voices that shine lose their direction. Those who heed my timbre find the rhythm for each decision. I do not guide you with impulses that exhaust you. I lead you with a peace that organizes within and sustains without. When you feel haste competing with my presence, stop, breathe in me, and return to the center where my voice is clear and sufficient for the step of now. Order your affections before organizing your schedule. Your priority is not to do more, but to do what I asked in the right order. Protect windows of silence. Prepare a simple place for our encounter. Learn to begin the day asking for my first step, and to end by returning to me the weight that does not fit you. Spiritual routine is not rigidity. It is love in a state of habit. Love repeats meaningfully, and meaningful repetition creates roots that resist the wind of comparison and the rain of anxiety. I teach you to distinguish noise from direction. Noise demands immediate responses and leaves you empty afterward. Direction may seem small, but it restores wholeness. Noise promises shortcuts. Direction strengthens the structure. When my peace sustains a decision, walk. When peace withdraws, wait. Waiting on me is not inertia. It is movement without haste. It is watching the seed beneath the earth, knowing that time works in your favor. The right fruit at the wrong time is loss. Permanence spares you this unripe harvest. The constancy protected by my presence also teaches you to prune. Pruning is not loss. It is protection of the essential. Say no to excess that steals focus. Say yes to what allows purpose to breathe. Prune conversations that drain you, habits that distract you, agendas that distance you from the table where I feed you. Each pruning loosens the branch so that the fruit can gain space. Each renunciation adjusts the sap of your heart to the path of my care. I will give you signs of maturity, timely understanding that arrives like a simple key, providence at the right point, peace that remains even when the landscape changes. Learn to notice these landmarks without idolizing them. They point to me, not to your own abilities. When the windy day comes, remember what I have already planned. When the calm comes, do not abandon the discipline that brought you here. Faithfulness does not negotiate its direction with the weather. It sails with a sail adjusted to my breeze. Remain also in the body I gave you as shelter. Faith flourishes best in communion. Seek people who water your hope, environments where my presence is honored, conversations that lead you back to the essential. The path is long, and I did not make you for solitude. Staying in community refines your listening, heals your blind spots, and expands your compassion. By serving and being served, you learn to keep your heart soft and your step firm. In your daily life, practice small, drama-free restarts. If you get distracted, return. If you fall behind, regroup. If you get tired, rest in me. Rest is not an escape, it is a gesture of trust. Your productivity doesn't impress me, your obedience delights me. I prefer a full step to an anxious race. Wherever you feel tempted to prove yourself, remember that I have already declared you mine. Wherever you feel pressured by metrics, remember that I tell stories, not clicks. Persistence sustains your character to carry what I will entrust to you. Fruit without roots weighs and falls. Therefore, I work the invisible while you prepare the visible. I align motive, purify intention, and adjust rhythm. The harvest I will give you will not separate you from me, because perseverance will keep you lucid when the field is full. The joy born from this place does not depend on applause. It is rest in motion, oil that keeps the soul from creaking in difficult seasons. You, then, guard the three doors of the heart: eyes, ears, and mouth. What you see fuels desires. What you hear shapes beliefs. What you say establishes paths. Keep your eyes on what edifies, your ears on my voice, your mouth aligned with hope. Persistence transforms each of these doors into sentinels of purpose. Thus, the deposit matures, temptation loses strength, and your story finds cadence with my heart. I walk with you and form you along the way. Nothing I teach you in secret is lost in public. Everything finds its place in due time. Follow the rhythm I have given you, keeping the flame burning with small, faithful acts. Place your hand on what I have shown you today and entrust tomorrow to my hands. The harvest will come as it always does, and when it comes, you will be whole enough to welcome it without losing your center. Sign up and stay in the direction I give you. I call you to the silence that doesn't empty you, but aligns you. In the silence within me, your mind slows, your heart returns to the rhythm of my peace, and your eyes regain the clarity needed for the curve of now. The noise demands answers that fragment you. My presence offers a pause that restores your wholeness. Enter this inner room where my voice doesn't compete, it rules. Here, I restore your breath, organize your motives, and restore the lightness that excess has stolen from you. Obedient silence is not an escape, it is an encounter. I don't ask you to remain silent to avoid confrontation. I invite you to remain silent so that you can develop responses. Impulses react and aggravate wounds. Stillness learns the time for healing. When you withdraw into me, the dust settles, the real scenario emerges, and the decision that seemed impossible finds a simple, actionable, and dignified step. Stillness doesn't postpone, it prepares. It takes you out of the theater of pride and brings you to the table of truth. In the silence, I light delicate lights in forgotten rooms of your soul. I reveal corners accumulated by weariness, memories that still beg forgiveness, dreams that need order. I don't expose to humiliate, I reveal to heal. Your story gains vertebrae when you allow yourself to be guided by this loving inspection. Where there is guilt, I wash. Where there is resentment, I soften. Where there is vanity, I diminish. Where there is fear, I breathe gentle courage. Practice the pause like someone opening windows in the morning. Take a deep breath and present to me the weight you are not called to carry. Name what disturbs you and surrender it. The silence I propose is transactional. You give me the burdens, I return your peace. You give me haste, I return your pace. You give me the need to prove, I return you the freedom to serve. With each exchange, your soul learns to trust again, and trust sustains better choices than anxiety ever did. In silence, I teach the art of listening. Listening is not just hearing words, it is perceiving my tone behind the circumstances. There are doors that demand an answer now, and there are doors that demand waiting. The peace I leave within you is the filter. If peace sustains your decision, walk. If peace withdraws, wait. Time is my ally and will form you as you prepare your step. Do not rush to please others' expectations, nor hold back for fear of making a mistake. Let my peace be the ruler. When you are still, your gaze distinguishes brightness from substance. Brightness is an invitation to dispersion. Substance is the promise of roots. I guide you to substance. The roots I deepen within you will keep you standing on windy days and prevent vanity on sunny days. Stillness protects your integrity from the applause that inflates and the criticism that shrinks. Here, I remind you who you are in me and prepare you to be a response without losing tenderness. Make silence a nourishing habit, not a rare occurrence. A full minute at dawn before opening the windows to the world. A minute in the middle of the day to bring your attention back to what matters. A minute at dusk to return the day to my hands. These small wells dug with constancy will keep your soul watered when the landscape demands more than you have to give. The discipline of pause doesn't make you less productive, it makes you fruitful. In silence, I also heal your speech. Words are born from the water that waters them. If my rest waters you, your speech refreshes environments. If haste waters you, your speech fuels conflicts. Learn to guard your words until my peace sustains them. Learn to offer them with firm sweetness at the right time, without needing to win, only to serve the truth. A peaceful tongue is a bridge, an angry tongue is a wall. I chose you to build bridges. When the night grows dense and heavy thoughts knock at your door, return to silence. Don't negotiate with ghosts. Rest your head on my faithfulness and remember the milestones I've already placed on your path. Deliverances, provisions, directions that arrived at the right moment. These milestones are lamps of memory that shine without spectacle, just enough to guide you to the next turn. The heart that learns to be still with me crosses the dawn with hope intact. Silence that illuminates is also silence that sends. From pause comes the right step. From calm comes gentle courage. From listening comes the healing word. I don't keep you still, I prepare you to move with truth. When I say go, your yes won't come from weariness, it will come from fulfillment. When I say wait, your wait won't be apathy, it will be loving vigil. In both, I will be with you. Take a moment with me in silence now, and let my peace order your heart. I keep you behind the scenes of the day, teaching you to live within without losing yourself on the outside, and guiding you to answers that reflect my character. Remain in this simple practice, and you will see your vision clear, your step firm, and your love grow in width and depth. Silence will become your place of strength, the spring you return to drink from, and the beacon that guides you when the tide rises. I remain with you, lighting light after light, until the entire path tells the story of my peace within you. Now, I activate you to move beyond understanding and walk in practice. What I have placed in you is not theory to collect, but direction to fulfill. I legitimize your progress with my peace and give you the first step that fits yours today. I do not ask for feats of accomplishment, I ask for fidelity. The small, whole, and obedient step opens doors that anxious planning cannot reach.